All right, so let's look at this first one for f of x equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. This is in standard form, so we want to turn it into factored form. So to factor this, we could write it as x plus 3 times x plus 3, also known as x plus 3 squared. So this would be factored form. And let's see, we can find the x-intercepts. X-intercepts are where 0 is equal to x plus 3 squared. And that happens when x is negative 3. Because x equals negative 3 makes it so negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So the x-intercept is negative 3, 0. And the y-intercept, well, the y-intercept is what you get when x is 0, and you can see that that is going to be 9 here. So that's the x-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be 0, 9. And the direction it opens, well, let's see, this is x squared, and it's a positive 1 times x squared. So if your a is equal to positive 1, that means it opens upwards. All right, so let's see. We can draw a sketch with this stuff on it. We got to have x equals negative 3. Right about here is the x-intercept. The y-intercept is 9. If I want to make this kind of sort of to scale, I should probably make the x-axis a little bit lower here, so we can have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up there. Okay, so oops. Alright, so about like that. That is an ugly parabola. I know I said rough sketch, but that was a little bit too rough. Alright, so I guess that's good enough. So that's that one. This one, let's see, this is in factored form. And when it's in factored form, it actually makes it easy to find the x-intercept. So, because we want to know the x-intercepts are what x makes y equal 0. So to do that, I'm going to replace the result here, the y coordinate, with 0. And so there's two factors here. You could have 2 minus x is equal to 0, or you could have 2 plus x is equal to 0. Either way, if you just add the x to both sides here, you'll get x equals 2. This one would give you x equals negative 2. So though the x-intercepts are 2, 0, and negative 2, 0. All right, so that's the x-intercepts. And to get the y-intercepts, it will help if it's written in standard form here. So to get it in standard form, I'm going to FOIL it out. There's going to be a 2 times 2 is 4. And then we have minus 2x from the minus x times 2, and then a plus 2x from over here. And of course, those cancel out. And there's also a minus x squared. So that just gives you 4 minus x squared. Or if you want to get it precisely in standard form, it would be negative 1 times x squared plus 0x plus 4. So you can see that a is negative 1. That's going to mean it opens down. The c is 4, so that means the y-intercept is going to be 0, 4. And we can graph something that has all of that stuff. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's the y-intercept. The two x-intercepts right here. And it opens downwards, so we want a parabola that looks about like that. All right, that's those. All right, here's where it's going to get a little trickier. With C here, first of all, this is in standard form. Let's just see what we know from that. We got the value of C here is 2, so that means the y-intercept is going to be 0, 2. All right. Then if we want to get this into factored form, let's see. I'm going to do the trick where we're going to do the a times c is -3 multiplied by 2, and that's -6. And I want two numbers that multiply to make -6 that add up to 5. And let's see, what's going to work for that is +6 and -1. So that's the way we're going to split up this 5x here. So I'm going to rewrite this as -3x squared plus 6x minus 1x plus 2. And after doing that, this should be set up to factor by grouping. So let's see. These two terms here each have a 3x factor. So I'm going to factor that out as 3x. And what's left over in those is, let's see, we need a -x plus 2. And then over here, there isn't really anything to factor out. So I'm just going to, we already have -x plus 2. So I'm just going to write that as +1 times -x plus 2. And then both of these have a -x plus 2. Both of these big terms now have a -x plus 2 factor in it that you can take out. So after you take that out, there's 3x plus 1 left over. And it's all times -x plus 2. Again, the trick here is that, like, you can think about taking this thing and distributing it into these two terms using the distributive rule, and you'll get the previous step. So that is factoring that by grouping. So now we have it in factored form. So once it's in factored form, we have h of x equals this whole thing. We can set each of these two factors to 0 to make the whole thing be 0. So we're going to make 0 equal to 3x plus 1. If you subtract the 1 from both sides and divide by 3, I'm going to skip a few steps, you should end up with -1/3 equals x. So that means this graph has the point, an x-intercept, is what we're finding here, an x-intercept -1/3, and y would be 0 there. And likewise, the other factor here could be 0. And that gives you, if you add x to both sides, you'll get x equals 2. So that's the other x-intercept here is 2, 0. All right, so we've got the y-intercept, we've got these two x-intercepts. We wrote it in factored form right here. It started off in standard form. So now that we have that, we can graph it. But first, does it open upwards or downwards? Well, because you have an a equals -3, it opens downwards, because that is a negative number. All right, so let's try to plot all of the stuff. There's a y-intercept of 2. We have an x-intercept of also of x equals 2, y equals 0 is right here, and also x equals negative 1/3. So if this is negative 1 and negative 2 over here, negative 1/3 is about here. Just realize this is okay. Not really to scale. I think negative 2 should be a little bit to the left. More like that. Okay, so we got those points. Now, because we have negative 1/3 here and 2 here, you can see it's going to be going up really steeply to some maximum vertex up there. We'll go over in then one of the next sections over how to figure out where exactly that vertex is. But the whole thing should look about like that. Okay. Looking at this next one, this is already in factored form. To get it into standard form, let's distribute the 2x minus 3 into the 4 minus x using regular old FOIL method. So that's going to be, I'll leave the 3 alone for now. 2x times 4 is 8x. 2x times x is minus 2x squared. And then we have minus 12 on the inside. Writing this in a weird order. That's okay. And then minus 3 times negative x is plus 3x. I hope that's within the frame. Anyways, when you distribute well, let's combine some like terms here first. So we've got 3 times negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x is plus 11x, and then minus 12 there. So then let's distribute the 3 in there. So that should give you negative 6x squared plus 33x minus 36. Okay, so let's see what this gives you here. First of all, we have the value of c here is negative 36, which means the y-intercept is 0, negative 36. We can get the values of x that make these two parts equal to 0, makes 2x minus 3 equal to 0. That's going to be, I'll skip some steps, you should get x equals 3 over 2, also known as 1.5. And the other x-intercept, the other x-intercept is going to be, I'm running out of room here, is going to be at 4 minus x equals 0, which gives you x equals 4. So the y-intercepts are x-intercepts, excuse me, x-intercepts are 1.50 and the other one is 4,0. And we can also see that the value of a here is negative. We have this negative 6, which means that this is going to open downwards. So if we plot all of this stuff, let's say we have negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, negative 40, negative 36 is going to be about here. And let's see, you might hear my sleepy kid in the background just woke up from his nap. Hang on a second. All right, and then we have 1.5 and 4 are the x-coordinates of the x-intercepts. So that's 4 right there, and then 1.5 is right here. So the graph should end up looking like something like that. And that's the section. These are tricky problems. If you got these on your own, give yourself a big pat on the back. If you were able to do 2 of these on your own, that's pretty good. If you were able to get some of this, but then you had to watch the video for hints to keep going, and then you kept going on your own after you got the hints, then that is excellent. Then you're going to get a lot out of this. So anyways, I'll see you all on Canvas on the internet, and have a good day.